Well, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing really well. I'm staying warm.
Yes. It's been quite an adventure here in South Carolina the last couple of weeks.
I'm definitely doing my part to use as much natural gas to keep the house warm as
There
possible.
you go. Good for you.
How about you? How are you doing, Charles?
I'm great. Excited about today. We are talking about one of our free services that we have, one of our assets, I would call it, location1.com.
Yeah, I've been really looking forward to this episode.
Yeah. So we just wanted to have a whole episode that devoted our time to Location One. It's not something we talk about a ton because it's free.
Right.
It's free. It's, 55,000 sites and buildings across mostly the United States, but there's also properties in Canada and Mexico. And so it's a way to view whatever you're looking for when it comes to, sites or buildings. So I'm excited about talking about it.
Yeah, you're right that we don't talk about it that often because we have a roster of clients that are subscribing to software that is improving their process flow once they have a site selection project.
Yep.
And so I'm happy that we're diving deep today into observations from location1.com. We're going to talk about some of the vision behind it, of where it came from, why it exists, where it's heading. And then we're going to get into, by the end of the episode, into frequently asked questions.
Yes.
Because because it's a global resource that's free, we are asked questions through email, through our support desk, on sales calls, and also at events.
Exactly right.
It's going to be the show will have an arc that'll go through this beginning, middle, and end, and we'll end with the FAQs.
There you go. Good.
So I'm going to start with some observations. And the observations are coming from the world of site selection. And it's all about the process of discovery. And site selectors, our clients, our colleagues in the industry, absolutely love discovering new places, new communities, new properties, and staying up to date on the properties they've visited in the past. Because they know that economic developers are constantly iterating, obtaining new investment, working with their utility and rail partners, and keeping these properties as competitive as possible. And they want to stay up to date on these assets. And so one of the things that we keep encountering and when we're talking to site selectors is that they are discovering sites and buildings through multiple paths. There's no one way. There's email, there's familiarization tours, FAM tours, there's events, there's social media. And site selectors love to build relationships, and economic developers do too, and that's going to continue. I mean, I see that trend continuing. It's a people business.
Yep.
And site selectors are using a range of data tools to discover properties, buildings, and sites. And site selectors narrow their search region by power, workforce, logistics.
Yep.
And they're constantly iterating. They have to. That there is no what you did last year is going to make you successful this year. The market's constantly moving. The data tools are constantly improving. And so when you think about that, if you try to pin it down to exactly how you're going to be found, it's very challenging if you're an economic developer. How exactly will someone find me? And what we have observed is that the trend here, the observation is, if you're actively trying to be found, you're going to get found, right? If you're thinking along these lines, you're already ahead of many, many locations.
Yep.
If you have a passive stance of we're just gonna hang out and wait for an RFI to show up, that is going to result in less opportunities than locations that are more active and leaning into the discovery process so that they get found.
Yeah, and that makes sense to me to me, it's a lot like other industries that we've seen. I think about this just like residential real estate.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you think about residential real estate, think about how far that has come in the last 40 years, call it pre-internet to now.
This is really familiar to me because when I was a kid, my mom was a residential real estate broker for 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
So I, of course, wasn't a residential real estate broker 40 years ago, but my mom was.
Mm-hmm.
And I often accompanied her to the office or to the parade of homes or on showings.
Yeah.
So what are you thinking?
So
about
you think about the way it's changed, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when you went to go, if you were going to buy a home, and the tools that you had to actually search homes 40 years ago, okay, pre-internet, you read the paper.
Yeah. I went like this. I remember opening.
The Sunday paper would have, homes that you'd scroll through, no pictures, just scroll through. You could hire a real estate agent, right, to maybe go find you properties. If you were selling a home, you might put a for sale sign in your property. So there's lots of different paths that you could do to either look for properties or find properties.
I remember the multiple listing service was, this is flashing back, but I remember the multiple listing service was a catalog. It was some sort of paper version because I remember going to the real estate office after school and sitting at my mom's desk and looking, page turning through the MLS.
That's right.
And looking at houses.
That's right. And if you think about that, how far that industry's come, the corporate site selection industry is going in the same direction. What does Location One do? It's an aggregation tool of economic development organization properties that people can view.
Yes.
Right. And so that is where we see it. And that's what we've done, much the way Zillow has done that in the residential real estate industry, right?
Yeah, Zillow has aggregated and they provide visibility into a wide geography.
Yes.
Yeah, you're right.
So you're able to, if you're looking to buy a home, you can go on Zillow. You see pictures, you see the price, you see exactly where it is, if it's in your favorite neighborhood. You know a lot of stuff about a piece of property before you choose to go view it or see it. And so it's made it much easier, right, to consume that. And
it's free.
And it's free. That's exactly right.
And you can, you're right about Zillow. It's making me think about 6 months ago or so, I was doing some research on the history of Zillow and came across Rich Barton.
Yes.
And I know you've been reading about him too.
Rich has revolutionized the real estate industry from different aspects. Obviously, Zillow was something that he built. He also built Expedia.com, and he's also built Hotels.com. And if you think about what I just named, those three things, they're aggregation tools. For Expedia, it's tools on how to travel, flights, hotels, everything, Hotels.com, obviously, it's pretty basic. Hotels. Zillow, residential real estate. Location1.com is in that same breadth of aggregation tools of 55,000 economic development properties across North America. It's a roll-up of those tools. So we're not ready to say we are the Zillow of economic development properties yet.
But we're inspired by them.
But we are inspired by them. And that is what we're trying to do, is make it easier for people to find the types of properties that they want, rather than having to go into a specific economic development organization's website to find their properties, or maybe go to the next county over and find their properties. It's a roll-up of all the properties. And so that's what we're trying to do.
If we keep talking about Rich Barton, because he started at Microsoft, saw that he saw gaps in the market and that what the market wanted was more visibility and more search over a wider set of options.
Yes.
So then that led into him having this aggregation mindset,
Yep.
which led into Expedia and Zillow and hotels.com. And so I was thinking, well, what did he deliver to the market that they didn't have before? He not only gave control to the buyer who wanted search and wide visibility, but he gave control to the seller too.
Correct.
Of the seller, now that there's a place to be found, now the seller has more control over how they present themselves.
Exactly right. And so if you have a listing on location one, the listing that you have for your property can be as it can have everything you might need. If you want pictures or videos or anything like that, we've added those tools into location1.com so your property becomes more visible outside of just someone coming to your local website and finding those properties. Again, it's also a tool for you to have that somewhere else. Just like you wouldn't, if you're trying to sell your house, just put a for sale sign in your front yard. There would be other things you would do to try to sell your house. Location one is one of those tools that you can use to try to market your property.
Well, and so then, okay, so let's keep using this residential real estate model.
Okay.
So I think about marketing as having different conversations with different audiences. So if I put a sign in my yard, I know that my neighbors are going to see it. And my neighbors are going to have friends.
Yes.
And they want to live next to their friends.
Yes.
So I'm going to have conversations with my neighbors one-on-one. And I'm going to customize my message to them based on why my house is going to be a great fit for their friends. And they should recruit their friends to come over here and pay me top dollar for my house.
Absolutely.
My regional group, right? So if I'm an economic developer, if I translate this over to economic development, my regional group, it has a brand. It has a market. It's got industry sectors. So I'm going to put on their website, I'm going to provide them with information of why my property is a good fit for their industry sectors that are a priority.
Yes.
My state might have similar, but maybe a little bit different persona, pitch, priorities, sectors.
Yep.
And then location1.com is another level where it's global.
Yep.
It's free.
Yep.
Site selectors can save and search and filter and save favorites. So 90% of the information that I list there might be the same, but 10% might be a little bit targeted to that audience too. That's what I mean about control.
Yes.
Is you control your messaging based on the audience that you're trying to market to.
Yes. That makes complete sense to me. So let's shift gears real quick.
Sure.
If you go to location1.com, what's the first thing you see? How do you search?
You want kind of like a walkthrough around the site?
So we've talked about what it is we're doing. It is a roll-up of 55,000 sites and buildings. It's free. Anybody in the world with an internet connection can actually try to find properties, whether if they want to drill down into a state or whatever. So how do they do it? What do they see?
So first of all, there's a map of North America, and the map really dominates 80% of the screen. Over on the left, there's thumbnails. And so there's going to be a picture as well as just some brief information about the properties that are showing up on the map. And then right above those thumbnails, it gives you an indication of the volume of properties there. So it may say something like 200 of 12,000, and that number continues to grow.
Go up. Yeah.
At the very top of the screen, the user can search by buildings or by sites, and that's because the way you market a building versus a site, there's different data that's being tracked on that. There's a search. So in the search box, there's data fields in there that can be searched on that are more spatial, like acres or square feet. There's going to be search fields that are more about logistics, like rail accessible, certified sites.
Yep.
By geography. You can search by country, by state, by county. And we're open for feedback on search. Search changes and iterates, especially now.
Yes.
And so we are always making updates to how search happens. Once you get back into the map viewer, let's say you click a property and you open it up, what you're going to see is there's usually a photo and video kind of rolling bar that you can click through. There's the economic development contact, which is great. So the purpose of the location1.com is really to drive increased interest. It's another marketing channel. And it's to drive increased interest to the economic development contact as soon as possible. There's demographic data that's pulling from Esri. Esri's been a long-time partner and data provider. They're one of the top geospatial companies out there that provide data. So our household and population data is coming directly from Esri. And then there's attachments. Anything can be attached. There's no limits. So communities attach due diligence reports, marketing flyers. They can attach drone videos. They can attach a pitch video that they've produced themselves. And in fact, on our Featured Site Friday series, a lot of those properties that are being featured on our LinkedIn channel, those properties have quite a bit of information uploaded about them. And so they show well, right? They show as really good case studies of, oh, here's a great example of a listing. And there's also quite a few details that can be included about rail, electric, gas, water, wastewater, as well as any other unique attributes that differentiate the property from other assets out there.
So if you have a listing on location one, do we tell you if people are clicking onto your property? Are there any analytics around the property itself?
Yes. And so we should clarify, location1.com is free to search.
Yes.
It's not free to list.
Yes.
However, we have created a very efficient fee structure to make the opt-in as low barrier as possible.
I would agree.
And so, yes, once you do have a listing there is a login and a password that you're provided once you have a listing, and you can log into the back end of the software. You can click on the tab that says Analytics, and you can look at information about your listing. So you can go, it's time bound. So, today, last week, last month, and you can see the number of page views, and you can see from where the page is being viewed.
Awesome.
So customers that have been using this feature, typically they'll log in on the first of the month and look at activity from the previous month, and they'll take a screenshot or download the PDF report to get the map of where people are looking from and able to use that as insight for business development or for digital marketing and to plan discovery trips. And they can see it's global, so they can see if somebody's looking from Boston or from Berlin.
Cool. The one of the things I've been excited about with Location One, me personally, is that the amount of traffic on Location One has increased pretty dramatically, I would say, over the past few months. I mean, I remember when we were sitting at between 6,000 and 7,000 sessions or page views on a monthly basis. I think last month we were over 11,000 active views. So in just those few short months, the word is getting out about Location One. I think that's, again, what we're trying to do here is build this MLS for economic development properties, right? And so the more views that we get.
Are you putting that in air quotes because you don't want the commercial real estate world to get mad at us?
That's right. Okay. That's exactly right. And so, but yes, you're right. But anyway, the growth on that has been pretty dramatic. We've also gone from just like 15 or 16 countries viewing. I think now we're up to like 50 different countries are actually looking at properties on Location One. So the international foreign direct investment communities that are looking for properties in America are actually 50 different countries. I couldn't tell you if it's 1,000 different people or 5,000 different people are actually using the site. So that is really good information for me to know that the traffic on the site is growing And we continue to get the word out. So I think that's a positive thing. Question would be, I think a lot of people have, is how does Location One fit alongside if you're a community with a property and you've got your website and you've got some marketing materials and maybe you've got a flyer, how does it fit alongside that? Is Location One a replacement for any of those? What would be your comment on that?
Well, location1.com, the way I think of it, I think that your analogy to Zillow is the closest analogy in that having the information about your assets, your properties on your own website, to me is table stakes. Mm-hmm. As well as having your economic development contact person's email and phone number on your website. That's a holdover information from a previous life, but I'm going to plug that here.
Yeah.
So that to me is definitely, we're just restating things that have already been in that's good guidance.
Yeah.
That's been in the market for multiple decades.
Yep. And
we have a product there, and that product is called Lois. And there are many organizations that choose to use Lois on their website. Mm-hmm. And there's competitors in that market that are fantastic, that we have tremendous respect for. And we integrate with, we interoperate with. So there's definitely the starting place is having a map viewer on your own website.
Totally agree.
And then what we're trying to communicate to the market is that location1.com, yes, it's additive. It's another layer above it. And the why is because it is a aggregation. It's a roll-up across all of North America. And it is a place where site selectors and corporations can search for free, and they can favorite the properties and store them in folders.
Yes.
Which means after projects, before projects, while they're just thinking about maybe having a project, they can discover, they can get familiar, and they can save properties that they're considering so that when the time is right for them to send their RFI, they can make sure that your organization or community receives one because they know that you've got something to offer.
Yes, I would agree with everything you just said. And then using the metrics I just talked about before, I think that enhances that value of Location One, right? If you are a local county, town, whatever, we do have 11,000 page views across Location One on a monthly basis from 50 different countries. There is a wider swath of people we're gathering.
That's probably better said, right? When you ask me the question of why and how does it fit, I think that your answer is more clear in terms of because the broad base, it's a broader audience.
Correct.
It's a broader audience.
You're casting a wider net.
And
so keep doing what you're doing, Mr. Economic Developer. This is not a replacement for everything else you're doing. This is accretive to what you're doing. It's bringing in a whole nother audience. So this to us, this is just part of your marketing quiver, so to speak. And so it's not to replace anything. It's to be additive. I think the same would be said.
What does that make you think about when you're talking about the marketing stack or the marketing relationships and economic development's a team sport? I'm wondering, are you thinking then about the regional and state organizations?
Regional and state, I think it's the same answer to the question.
The same philosophy.
The same philosophy. Obviously, any county or local economic development organization working with their region is imperative. I think having strong regional leadership helps promote a community or a series of communities. You have more thought process onto what type of projects you're really trying to attract. And then also with the state organization as well, same sort of thing. So the state has a philosophy and a plan of attack on what type of businesses they would like to land. You as a local or a county or a regional, whatever, local or regional, participate in that and continue to participate in that. This is just another way of getting your property out there. This is it. And so it doesn't replace any of those other things that you're doing to help market your property. It is an and. It's not an or.
Well, and I think another view lens, and this is coming from a rural perspective. I'm from a rural background, and it's around this sense of control. When you're a smaller community or living in a smaller town, where I grew up, you know that there's more resources in the region, and you know there's more resources at the state. But guess what? You're not there. You have less resources.
Yeah.
And so having this sense of control for a very cost competitive, low barrier to entry.
Yes.
I can learn how to market my assets. I can learn by doing. It's a laboratory. There's no better way to learn.
Correct.
I can go to my asset and take photos and record a video. I can record a pitch.
Yep.
I can create a listing, and I can see, am I getting page views?
Yep.
Am I getting questions? Am I getting inquiries? I can tweak. I can tinker.
Yep.
I can learn what's resonating with the market, so that when the region asks me for collateral or the state asks me for updated information, I have it.
Yes.
And I am more informed about what they need and why they need it, and can provide it to them because I've had this laboratory within which to try marketing my assets.
Correct. And I think we've seen examples of economic developers who have really used these types of listings to their advantage on LinkedIn, on social media, bringing more attention to their properties that they're trying to market.
It's a way to move from passive to active, to go from a lack of control to control, to have some agency around promotion.
Yes, I agree. Well, I think that gives everybody a pretty clear understanding about Location One and the things that we do for it. Obviously, we are trying to build this brand, Location One brand, and we're trying to get it out. We'd love to come back a year from now and say that we don't have 11,000 monthly page views. We have 111,000 monthly page views, right? And so I think it's good for the industry to have one place that economic development organizations can point to that says, here is a domain that has 55,000 properties on it, where everyone's trying to do the same thing, market their properties to the world for development and to obviously build jobs. And that's what we're all trying to do here. So
I think you're right, Charles. I think that's an excellent perspective. I think if we go back to Rich Barton and what he built with Expedia, Hotels.com, and Zillow, it's going to lead to more transactions, not less. There'll be a larger volume of activity, not less.
Yes.
Right? That's what aggregation does on a trend basis. It's a rising tide lifts all boats kind of philosophy. And what's really encouraging to me is that at a local level, at a person level, you don't have to reinvent yourself to succeed. You can leverage the tools that have already been developed and engage.
Well, good. Well, I'm glad we did this. I think this was an informative episode for everybody. Obviously, if you're out there and listening to this and have any questions about location1.com, please feel free to reach out to Susan or myself. We very rarely on our podcast talk about our products and services. Usually we have guests, but we thought this would be a very good topic because we get a lot of questions on Location One and how those listings get there and what do you get with the listing. And so we just wanted to make sure that information's out there. So anything else you want to add?
No, I was happy to be here today, and I'm glad we got the opportunity to share about location1.com.
Me too. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate it.